welcome to Sakshi TV special immigration show with attorney Bhanu Illindra from BBI Law Group. Please note that Sakshi TV now has 3 immigration shows every week on Tuesday at 3 p.m. EST with attorney Ms. Sheila Murthy, Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. EST with attorney Ms. Prashanti Reddy in English, and on Friday at 6 p.m. EST with attorney Bhanu Illindra. Please tune in to ask your questions. If you are an immigration attorney and would like to join our special shows, please email us at usa@sakshi.com or call us at 8667257441. Before we begin the show, please note that the information provided on this show is not a legal advice. Use of content is for general information purposes only. Sakshi TV or its agents in the USA or our guests on the show are not responsible for the use of information as legal advice. If you need specific legal advice, please contact the attorneys directly. We will be also taking any general immigration questions along with today's topic. Hello Bhanu Garu, welcome to the show. Can you please provide information about your law offices and practices?
Hello Rani Raja, how are you?
I'm doing great. I hope you're doing great too.
I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on the show again. And my name is Bhanu Illindra. I'm an immigration attorney. I've been practicing immigration law for 18 years now. My firm name is BBI Law Group PC. We are located in Herndon, Virginia. Our firm website is www.bbilawgroup.com. And our contact details are 703-496-7722. My email ID is bhanu@bbilawgroup.com. I represent in all types of immigration matters: employment-based immigration, family-based immigration, EB-5 investor visas, and also any F visas, M visas, J visas, P visas, O visas, every type of immigration matter we represent at our firm, and anything related with immigration. If you have any questions, feel free to reach us anytime. We're very happy to guide you and provide whatever the assistance needed for your immigration matters. Thank you for giving this opportunity, Sakshi TV and Rani Raj.
Yes. Mr. Bhanu, let's continue with today's topic. So today's topic is FY 2023 H1B Cap Registration and details pertaining to visa interview waiver, Dropbox for certain immigrant visas and other immigration updates. So Mr. Bhanu, can you tell us, are there any new immigration updates that we can know this week?
These are the updates which I want to talk. The topic which we have today are mainly the updates which I would like to talk in this particular show today. And that's where we basically mentioned those as the contents of the topics. Before talking the H1B registration program, I can talk about the visa interview waiver or the Dropbox eligibility for the visas to apply when somebody is trying to come from India to US or from any other country to US who are Indian nationals. I want to discuss about that right now. And these are the main important updates I want to talk. And other important, one more update is that when we go to an interviews at the consulates, especially if you're going as a dependent, what kind of questions can come to you and what to answer, what not to answer, and how to handle those situations. And if you answer certain questions, what are the consequences will be, what you can answer. Those are the things which I would like to discuss on this topic today, Rani Raj Garu.
Yes. Yes. Mr. Bhanu, can you tell us about the H1B Cap registrations in 2023?
See, we anticipate based upon the updates in American Immigration Lawyers Association and the USCIS discussions and everything, we expect that the FY 2023 fiscal year 2023 Cap registration, H1B Cap registration may begin on March 1, 2022, just like last year's. And as of now, we know that in the middle of the December, actually, the USCIS actually passed on the notification saying that they're no longer going to implement the cap registration based upon the salary that is being offered to the employees for the position in which the employer intend to hire them. So because the regulation has been removed, has been terminated, has been cancelled, now they actually again we were reinstated back to the last year's cap registration process. That means we're going to have a similar registration process what we have last year as of now today. We don't have any other updates as of now. I know there is one lawsuit is pending on this registration in the courts, but we need to see what the outcome of the last lawsuit is. But until that decision comes, as of now, H1B registration is done similarly like last year. It requires a minimal information for the employer to make an entry in the lottery system by paying $10 for each candidate for whom they intend to hire on a H1B specialty occupation position.
Yeah.
So in a H1B specialty occupation position. So the minimal information, basic information is the candidate's name, candidate's basic information like passport information, and the company name, company federal ID, company address, and the company contact details. That's all is needed for the minimal information needed in order for you to make an entry into the registration. As of now, they're going to implement what it's been there in the past 2 years. That is in 2020 for fiscal year 2021 and 2022. The same thing is going to be there for fiscal year 2023 as well.
Okay. Mr. Bhanu, now we have a caller. His name is Rajiv from Virginia. Hello, Mr. Rajiv. You can ask your question.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. This is Rajiv from Virginia. I have a quick question actually. So,
yes, sir.
I got H1 last year, so I changed employer. So USS revoked my H1 and I got my amendment as approval right now. Can I go to India and can I stamp something?
Sir, I was not able to hear you properly. Your voice is not clear. You are saying that you have an H1B approval right now, and you are asking me if you go for a stamping to India, whether you're eligible for the Dropbox or not. Is that your question?
Yeah, that's my first question. And second question, my first petition was revoked actually, and second amendment was approved right now. I-797 is approved right now.
So my question is this to you: have you ever denied visa in India to come to US, or rejected visa in India to come to US any time in the past?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Have you ever been denied a visa at the consulate, anywhere in any consulates abroad, to come to US?
No.
Like for example,
No.
if you apply for any F1 visa or H1 visa at the consulate abroad, have they ever denied that one to you or rejected that one to you?
No, it's not revoked and before and it first directly it's revoked actually, because my job was finished in one month. So I changed my job to the next job. So right now I was working for Staples. So
I understand, sir. H1B petition, the H1B petition must have been revoked. The petition which has been filed with the USCIS must have been revoked because of the non-compliance issues with the H1B filing. My question is very simple. In order for you to be eligible for the Dropbox, it is not about your H1B petition being denied or revoked by the USCIS. The requirement is that you should have never been denied or rejected a visa at the abroad. Visa is different from H1B status. Okay, so if they denied your any visa like F1 visa or H1 visa to come to US while you are in India or somewhere in the world, then later on they issue a visa. That is an issue which we need to understand. If that happens, then you are not eligible for the Dropbox in India. You have to go for the regular appointment, in-person appointment in India.
No, I never revoked or cancelled my AT visa in India. So this is the first time I was getting this one. So I can go forward, right? You're saying?
Yeah, as long as you've never been revoked a visa in India, but you have been issued a visa once in India. If you have been issued a visa already once, any type of visa like F1, B1, H1, any type of visa issued, and if you're going to apply for a visa in any of these categories, H, L, E, O, P, F, J1 and M1, any of these categories, then you may be eligible for the Dropbox. I'm going to discuss about this issue in detail in this show only. Please listen to this. Please watch the show.
Yes. Thank you, Rajiv, for calling us. Yes, Mr. Bhanu, you can continue with the topic.
Thank you, Rani Garu. And the important thing is about the visa interview waiver, or in general language we call it as a Dropbox eligibility. Basically, why do you mean the Dropbox means they can actually go and drop off the documents at a certain location, and the Department of State collects those documents and they adjudicate their visa application. If they feel it's necessary for them to call for the in-person interview, then they call them for the in-person interview to attend. That's what that's why we call it as a Dropbox eligibility. In legally, it's actually interview waiver. That's what it is, basically, because you're no longer required to attend for an interview to get a visa. Normally, you need to attend for the interview at the consulate to get a visa. Okay, that's the requirement. So, not in past, even now also, only certain type of people are eligible for the visa interview waiver or for the Dropbox. Who are those people are eligible? As per the last year's notification by the Department of State is that if anyone has been issued a visa and that visa has not been expired, if that visa either expired within the last 48 months, and if the individual is trying to seek a same type of visa at the same consulate where he obtained his visa previously, then they may be eligible for the Dropbox and visa interview waiver. That was the requirement previously. However, in December, Department of State, keeping COVID-19 pandemic in view, actually expanded this Dropbox facility, this interview waiver facility, to various other category individuals. Besides these individuals who are actually eligible for the Dropbox, there are other category of people also eligible to apply for apply for a visa through Dropbox eligibility.
Yes. Mr. Bhanu, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but we have another caller from Boston. His name is Suresh. Mr. Suresh, you can ask your question now.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening, sir. So my wife, she had got a H1 visa in the past. So basically, she had got the H1 Cap Exempt lottery approved H1B visa in 2016. But however, she is in H4 and she had never used the H1B visa at any time. And she was in EAD, and sometimes, she again got the approval with EAD and she continued. And being this year is going to the sixth year, so the H1B approved, the lottery approved cap exempt visa, can we use that within this 6 years for a H1 transfer to any of the employer who's ready to sponsor, or even after 6 years can we anytime use this visa which we never used any time the cap exempted? Basically, the lottery approved H1B was never used at all, and the person is staying in US in H4 currently.
Yes, answer is yes, because she was counted towards the cap already once. Therefore, she'll be able to get back onto H1B anytime if she wants to get back onto H1B. Usually they say that within the last 7 years, but I've seen USCIS has been very generous on this. If somebody has been approved H1B in the past and they're already counted towards the cap, anytime in the future, even beyond 7 years also, if they're trying to get back onto H1B by not subjecting themselves to a new cap, USCIS is okay with it. As long as you provide the proof that she has been counted towards the cap once before, that is absolutely fine. I have no problem in advocating cases which are beyond 6 years also to seek H1B approval, not being subject to the cap if they're already counted towards the cap.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you thanks.
Thank you for calling us. Yes, Mr. Bhanu, you were talking about the changes that were done in December for the interview. You can continue about that.
Thank you. The changes are very important thing. What they told is basically this Dropbox eligibility facility is available to the countries, to the individuals across the world, basically, including the countries that is participate in the visa waiver program or ESTA program, which allows them to enter to the US without having any visa. Just they have to have their passport and the port of entry. They'll allow them as a tourist or a visitors in this country for 6 months. Even those participating country nationals also can take advantage of this Dropbox, provided that these things are happening, right? One is basically is that if any individual who already if they have been issued a visa, any type of visa, it does not matter whether it's an H visa, whether it's an L visa, whether it's a F visa, J visa, M visa, does not matter. If they have been issued any type of visa in the past by the consulates abroad, okay, not by the USCIS, by the consulates abroad, and then they have never been denied any type of visa. For example, they have been issued a visa, but in the record, they never had any rejection of a visa or a denial of a visa in the past. Then they may be eligible for Dropbox or an interview waiver, provided they're applying for a visa in these particular categories. What are those categories? If they're applying for H visa, that means H1B, H2B, H2A, H4, H3. These are the 5 categories that are available in each visa. And then L visa. What are L visas? L1A, L1B, L1 blanket, and L2 visas for dependents. 4 types of people. And E visas, E1, E2, E3, and E dependents basically, right? So these are the individuals who will be applying for the E visa also.
Yes.
And then O visa, O1, O2, a P1, P2, and P3 also. So these, and F1, if anybody wants to come to an F1 visa to study, or J visa as an exchange visitor, or M visa as an occasional training student in this country, if they're applying for any of these categories, then they may be eligible for the Dropbox. They need not appear in-person interview if they have never been denied a visa, but they've been issued a visa at least once in the past. And there's no timeline on that. They could have been issued a visa 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 11 years ago, or even 5 years ago, 2 years ago also. As long as they've been issued a visa and they've never been denied any visa or rejected any visa, they may be eligible for the Dropbox now if they're applying for any one of these categories, what I just mentioned basically.
Yes.
Okay? And that is the requirement. And because of this, Indian Embassy came out and made an announcement also saying that they're going to give additional 20,000 visa appointments because of the Dropbox appointments basically for the people who can take advantage of that to apply for the visas and then come to US to pursue their dreams in America, whichever way they want to.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, Mr. Bhanu. Now, I want to know your personal views now that the Omicron outbreak has begun. Do you think there will be any changes into whatever that we've spoken today?
No. I mean, they basically said that this facility is available till December 2022. They kept in mind about the Omicron. They kept in mind about the all the things that are happening with the COVID-19 pandemic across the world. They actually issued this particular notification, you know.
Yes.
So this is in place until December 2022. Hopefully, we hope that things will be better, because I'm reading a lot of medical articles on Omicron variant and how the COVID-19 pandemic is going on, how the viruses are going to affect and interact. And based upon that, probably we are in the last batting on now, fighting with this pandemic. Hopefully, we will hit the peak in this last battle, and then by the month of February, March, I think it may subside with Omicron and every other thing. And hopefully, the COVID-19 pandemic goes away, you know?
Yes.
And I think it's a lot of time which we face and everything.
Yeah.
So, still, we have this procedures in place now until December 2022. That's a good thing for us.
Yes.
Hopefully, they will extend it beyond that also. Even besides Omicron, besides COVID-19 pandemic is done, because these facilities really help for people to get the visas as quickly as possible, so that they don't have any intermission breaks or any inconveniences for them to come to US, because sometimes there's a family separation happens, a lot of other things happen, because if
Yes.
somebody is already in the US and they go for the Dropbox, they have to go for the visa stamping to India. And if they don't have the Dropbox facility, they're not getting visa appointments for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months also, as of now. So those things will actually help to improve the timelines, and they will not be required to have these family separations or job issues, whatever security, whatever the issues they may have, they may avoid that. So
Yes, Mr.
hopefully this process will be there.
Yeah, Mr. Bhanu, we have another caller from Florida. Her name is Shweta. Hello, Ms. Shweta. You can ask your question now.
Yeah, thank you. So my question is, like, I'm currently working on H1B. I'm working on H1B, like, was extended and I have it approved. So I also got my green card EAD. So I'm planning to switch to green card EAD for better job opportunities. So I want to know whether later on, if due to some unforeseen incidents, if the green card becomes rejected or something, will I be able to file H1B again without going through the lottery process or anything? Like, is it similar to something like generally we do H1B extension? Will the same process apply?
You may not be able to file for a change of status to H1B in the US. If you're still eligible for H1B, provided that you have enough, that your I140 is not revoked, your I140 is still valid, and your immigrant visa numbers are still not available, and if you're eligible for the extension beyond usual 6 years, there are several scenarios are there in the situation. I do not know exactly what your scenario is. If you're eligible for H1B at the time, you will be required to go abroad, get visa stamped, and then come back. That H1B will be approved usually for the consular processing, because if you're 485, if you're using your EAD, then you don't have any status in this country. You're authorized to stay in this country based upon your I-485 filing. Okay, that's the discretionary status. It's not like a real immigrant, non-immigrant status. You know, you're authorized to stay because your 485 is pending, but you don't have any lawful non-immigrant status in this country,
Yes.
like how you have an H1B in this country.
Yes.
And because of that, if your 485 gets denied, then if you file for H1B, it will be consular processing. You have to go abroad, get visa stamped, and then come back. Under these circumstances, I've never seen anybody in my 18 years of experience with my clients and me personally also in the past while I was an H1B like everybody else, I've never seen consulate denying a visa for anybody
Yes.
under these circumstances.
Yes, thank you, Shweta, for calling us. Mr. Bhanu, we have another caller, Sai from Texas. Hello, Mr. Sai, you can ask your question now.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for giving this opportunity. So I would like to know more information on the I-130 and I-140. So I-130, my sister is a US citizen. She is willing to sponsor me, and I-140 is employment based. So can I do both at a time? Is my question.
Yes.
Are there any issues in the long run on going forward? Maybe any
No.
conflict?
No issues.
No issues. Okay.
No.
Yeah. Thank you, Sai, for calling us. Mr. Bhanu, yeah, so a lot of people are having this question now that the 2022 has started. They're asking, are there gonna be any more lottery systems happening this year?
Lottery system, that's what H1B lottery is going to be there in March, right? That's only the one we are worried about. So diversity lottery is there always, but our Indian nationals are not eligible for the diversity lottery. That's why I never discuss about it. I don't concentrate much on that because most of my clients are from India and other countries which are not subject to the diversity lottery. That's why I don't concentrate much on that.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's no other lotteries. Only lottery which we deal with all the time is the H1B lottery. We are not eligible for the H2B or H2A also from Indian nationals, so we don't deal with that lottery also. We only deal with the H1B lottery.
Okay.
You know?
Mr. Bhanu, finally, can you tell us who all are eligible for the US Dropbox and what are the documents that that are needed to be submitted during this process?
The people who are eligible for the Dropbox is the ones, as of now, as per the new recent guidelines, is that if they have been issued a visa in the past, any type of visa, in the US visa in the past, and that we never rejected US visa in the past, rejected or denied a US visa in the past, and if they're applying for a visa to come to the US in any one of the type of, if they're applying any one of these type of visas, H, L, E, O, P, F, M1, J, then they may be eligible for the Dropbox. That is one of the criteria which they have said. Other criteria is, people, if anybody has a visa issued in the past in the US, to come to the US, and that visa has been expired within the last 48 months, and if they're applying for the same type of visa at the consulate, at the same consulate where the previous visa was issued, then they may be eligible for the Dropbox. These are the two type of criteria that makes you eligible for the Dropbox. These are the two types of individuals. You know?
Yes. What are the documents that may be needed, Mr. Bhanu?
They're very simple. I mean, documents is basically every time when you apply for a visa, depending upon what type of visa it is, certain type of documents are required. Initially, when you're applying for a visa, for the US visa, you will be going and submitting information for, say, taking an appointment at the US travel docs. When you're trying to do that, basically, it will give you a basic questionnaire at the beginning, whether to check whether you're eligible for the Dropbox or not. You know, you have to answer those questionnaires, basically. Previously, the questionnaire was about the 48 months. Now, I think they're working on changing it. I don't think they've changed it yet, but still the questions are telling you that, have you ever been issued a visa in the past or not? You will say yes to it. Have you ever been denied a visa in the past or not? You will say yes or no to it. So these are the questionnaires which you go through them, and based upon that, they will determine whether you're eligible for the Dropbox or not. Yes. And you have to understand one more thing here is this. Dropbox eligibility is a discretionary procedure. That means even if you're eligible for the Dropbox, the consular officer may determine that you have to attend in-person interview.
Yes.
Okay? So they may call you for the in-person interview anytime. You cannot say that I'm eligible for the Dropbox, so you have to give me the visa accordingly now. If they want, they can call you for the in-person interview, and they can basically call you for the interview and inquire everything about you to see how you are eligible for the visa.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Bhanu, thank you so much for coming on to the show. We had an amazing show today with so many questions from the viewers. Thank you so much, viewers, for watching us. You're watching Sakshi TV with me, Shivani Raj.